you had a player signed today, Kaya Prestridge. Just was curious just what that process has been like getting to know her and what you're most excited about with what she'll bring to the team.
We've spent some time recruiting her throughout the summer. She's been on her official visit, and obviously, like you said, she signed today. But we're just excited. I think she truly fits our family, our system, and what we're trying to do here. I think she'll be a huge asset to the dribble drive and our expectations. And she's a winner, high character kid that's going to play really hard and is always looking to improve too. I mean, I love that in the middle of practice, when on her official visit, she would after practice, she would ask me questions. And I love that because she was trying to already learn some of the different things we do because, obviously this is her future home. So I love her grit. I love the fact that she can shoot it. She can post, she can get to the rim. She's aggressive around the rim. She's a really good rebounder and she's got a motor and she wants to win. And I love that.
And a quick follow-up on that, just her being your first high school signee here at Arkansas, just what does that mean to you? Just your first player to really take a chance on you in your program.
I think it speaks highly of the fact that of what we're trying to do. And I think again, recruiting to the system is extremely important and she fits that to a T. And the fact that, she wants to spend 4 years here at Arkansas. And that's something that's important that she finds a home away from home that she can really excel at. And I definitely think this is the place. And it means a lot that she's willing to buy in. She wants to be here with us. She wants to help us build something special. That definitely means a lot.
Now I want to ask about Southeastern Louisiana, just what you see from them on film.
I think that they have a lot of motion. They're going to try to get downhill. They can shoot it a little bit, but the biggest thing is we have to be a better version of us. I think as some of these preseason or pre-conference games, we have to make sure that we are getting better each and every time we have the opportunity to take the floor, fix some mistakes that we made from Monday night's game, and really hone in on some of the things we need to be more precise with in our game on Thursday.
Yeah, looking at their roster and everything, I mean, I know they're in their first year under a new coach, but I'm not sure if they have a returner from that was at Southeastern Louisiana last year. Just
Whole new
going up
roster.
against, yeah, going up against a team like that with so much just newness and unknown about them, what does that even look like with prep and scouting?
We prep and we really focus on when we're focusing on their offense of how we're going to guard their different sets, their different movements. So as far as like, okay, we're going to cover screens in this area this way, we're going to cover, each player a specific way. So really just honing in on some of the individual skills that they have and focusing on how we'll handle different action that they're going to throw at us so that each of our players, no matter who they're guarding and what we're doing, they have an understanding of how we're going to guard as an entire unit.
And then looking at Jeff, his background, I know he started like you in Division Two, ironically enough, at the university that you beat in the semifinals in 2019 at SWASU. I'm just curious, what lessons do you think that coaches like you and him probably learned at that level that are still applicable, in D1?
I think one thing is, at that level, I had one assistant. It was me and one other person. And, me and her had to do everything together. We drove the people mover. We've done a little bit of everything. So I think that blue collar work ethic and that mentality of having to just roll up your sleeves and find a way to get everything done in the midst of, your job, your home life, and all of those things. It just kind of brings it all into perspective. You have a lot more help at this level. I think the players, obviously at every level you can get a different type of player, but I'm still running the dribble drive and they still have to fit the system and they still have to, fit our culture and what we do in order for us to reach our maximum potential.
And last thing I'll ask is just Ashlyn. It feels like she's made a real impact every time she's been on the court this season. What are you seeing from her that you've liked through the first three games?
I think she does a really good job of rebounding. She really does talk and help us defensively with her length, but she can also score around the rim and she has a really nice touch away from the rim as well. So, I think that she's really playing with some confidence and she's getting more comfortable within the dribble drive and understanding her role. And I think that she's going to continue to just grow and get better and better. And I know we've seen some really good things, but I know there's way more to come from her. She has a really high ceiling, in my opinion.
Evan? Yeah, good morning, Coach. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. So now that it's been a couple days since kind of the overtime win on Monday night, curious, you've talked about things to improve. What are some of the things in the film on Monday that you guys have been going over the last couple of days, hoping to get better for Southeast Louisiana?
I think first of all, we didn't get into the right coverages a few times defensively, and it caused some confusion. And then we gave up some shots that we shouldn't have, or at least they weren't as contested as they needed to be more exact. So making sure that we're really doing a better job of communicating, no matter who's in. We did have some different lineups that went in the UCA game that we've got to make sure that we rep out a little bit more, that the players understand their role in different situations. I always tell them you got to be ready because you never know when your name could get called and when your moment could happen. And so you have to be ready. I thought some of them did come in and do a good job of seizing their moment, but we still have to be more efficient. I thought we picked up our dribble a little early, and I thought we took some rush shots with even within the offense. I know we want to play fast, but we can still take excellent shots for the majority of the possessions that we have.
And talk about excellent shots down to the wire. Emily Robinson gets that three, sends you guys to overtime. Curious for what you've seen out of her so far this year. I know she came with you from Oral Roberts, but where have you seen her kind of take a step forward now in Arkansas?
I think one thing is definitely her confidence. I mean, the one thing about Emily, at ORU, my first year she was a three guard. Last year she was my point guard, and now here she's playing the four spot. I think within the dribble drive, can be a little interchangeable, but the fact that Emily can play about any position on the floor, the fact that she does a lot of things that don't make the stat sheets, but she always comes up. I mean, she's hit some of our first shots to start most games. She hits the big shots that send us into overtime. She hit clutch free throws down the stretch to help us maintain and get a lead. So she does a lot of intangibles. She also helps get her teammates to the right spots, makes the right pass, and shares the basketball. So I think the list of things that Emily does for us is kind of endless.
And with Southeast Louisiana coming in, what do you kind of hope to see from your team take a step forward as we get closer and closer to December and eventually conference play?
I think we have to be more aggressive defensively. I think in our especially against Pine Bluff, we came out and we were really aggressive defensively, which led to some really good offensive buckets for us and transition points. And I think that we have to be more aggressive defensively. We have to set the tone by being the aggressor on defense in order to set the tone offensively. Yeah, we have a high octane offense and everybody can score, but we're more efficient when we play hard nosed, tough, aggressive defense that leads to some easy buckets for us.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Brett. Kelsey, are there things that you chart in game or your staff, whether it's paint touches or shots or quickness of shots, that you check after a game to kind of reaffirm what took place or what you were happy with?
Yeah, we do. We do some different stats. And then, like for instance, yesterday I wanted to stat some different 3-point shots. So we'll stat some things in games, but then at the same time, we'll come back and we'll restat things after so we can have a better evaluation to make sure, for instance, like our 3-point shots, are we repping those shots the same in practice in the same way we're getting them in a game? If not, then I have to make some changes because I want us to get the proper reps in order to be more efficient. So paint touches are important. Usually you can tell within our offense, if we're getting the paint touches that we need and sharing the basketball. Sometimes we have a tendency to start it on the right side and never get it shifted to the left, but we're obviously more efficient and more effective when we shift the ball from side to side and make the defense really move and make them close out. Then we score at a much higher rate. But just helping our players understand that, showing them on film, and reminding them that we have to do those things in order to be more successful.
One more. I feel like there's a compounding effect when teams play against you where they get to a point where they run out of gas. Do you see that? Do you sense it when you've got a team on the ropes, maybe before it happens, because you've seen this so many times? If they don't have their legs or they aren't doing what they did in the first half because of trying to keep pace with you guys?
Definitely, I've seen that a lot throughout my career, and I think that that's something that I talked about in our preseason when my players dreaded running. It's already starting to pay off and early. Sometimes it doesn't pay off until January or February, but it's already paying off because I think we're in really good shape and we're a little bit more mentally tough than when I got here. So those kinds of things really do matter, and whenever they call that, the media timeouts early in a quarter and we get 7 minutes and 45 seconds left to play with potentially no timeout. Oh, I'm loving that. I'm like, let's go.
I love it. That's good. Thank you.
Anything else for Coach?
Yeah, I want to ask one more. Just you've early season not had much time between games. There are a lot of games. Just what does that look like getting prepared for opponent to opponent?
Quick turnaround. I've told my players in the locker room that it's kind of a grind right now. It's grind, prep, and they've got to be able to grind things out. And you got to find an off day in between all of the games and stuff as well too. So you got to take that into account that they've got to have an off day, and they still have class and they still have other responsibilities. So really helping them hone in when we do have the practice, we do have the film sessions, that they are really giving me the maximum effort and all of their attention, because we're not going to always have 3 days to prepare. We're getting 1 to 2 days of a prep time to go into the next game. And you still have to fix some of the mistakes that we made in a previous game. So it is a lot of information, and it's going quickly. But I mean, that's part of it. I also remind them that these are the moments that they've been living for. They want to play games. That's what, not everyone just loves practice, let's be honest, but you love the games. And so, but you've got to be efficient at it. So really just helping them focus and hone in and be at their best and giving me maximum effort for the time that I do get with them. And then I think that it's transferring really well. And then they're able to obviously watch some film on their own because of the access to media, or not to media, but to the film sessions and different things. So that helps them too, because they are being students of the game, which is really helping us.
How do you think they've handled it so far as just all the like you said, it's loaded right now with all that's coming at them?
I think they've handled it well, considering we're actually really young and it's all so new. I think they're doing a really good job, because they're also starting to see the fruits of their labor. They're seeing that, hey, all those early mornings, it's paying off, because we still have our legs in the fourth quarter and overtime. We're still being able to make big shots. We're still able to knock down our free throws, and we're still able to push through. And they're tasting a little bit of success, and that I hopefully will continue to breed some confidence, because let's be real, confidence will take you a long ways in life.
Thanks so much.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thanks, Coach.